Rahab didn't choose to live in the cracks. Jericho had labeled her prostitute, foreigner, unwanted, labels that clung to her skin like the soot of nightly fires. Her house, wedged into the very wall that shielded the city, was a paradox, so close to power, yet far from dignity. While soldiers sharpened blades and drowned their fear of the Hebrews in wine, she sold hollow smiles and meaningless touches. A god who splits seas? The men laughed in the taverns. What kind of god says slaves? But that night, the wind carried something different. Two men crossed her threshold, not with lust in their eyes, but urgency. Their desert-stained robes smelled of dust, and something else she had never known, hope. They whispered of plagues, of seas parting like gates, of a God who had heard the cries of the broken. He chooses the rejected, one of them said, looking at her without reducing her to flesh or coins. Rahab's heart pounded. Her fingers brushed the sheer veil she wore like armor, now dyed blood red in the torchlight. Why me? She wondered, watching the spies hide beneath the stalks of flax on her rooftop. Outside, guards shouted, "Find them! They're here!" Her pulse trembled. But her hands, accustomed to bargaining bodies, began crafting a plan. I've survived selling lies. Why not sell a truth? She lied to the soldiers, claiming the men had already fled. As war drums echoed in the distance, Rahab looked not to the stone gods of Jericho, but to the stars, those the Hebrews claimed Yahweh had placed with his own hands. That night, a Canaanite prostitute discovered what Jericho never knew. Even the highest walls have cracks, and grace always finds them. Rahab held the scarlet cord like it was a thread of her own soul. Its rough fibers, dyed with pomegranate extract, matched the curtains of her room, the robes of Asherah's priestesses, the blood spilled on foreign altars. Will this be my death, or my salvation? She wondered, as the spies gave her instructions. When the army comes, keep everyone inside. If anyone steps out, their blood is not on us. Rahab nodded, but her nails dug into her palms. This wasn't just a deal for survival. It was a deal about identity. For years, she had been Rahab the Canaanite, defined by the men who passed through her door. Now, for the first time, someone saw her as Rahab, the woman who could change her future. The wind howled as soldiers patrolled below. "We're hunting traitors!" they roared. Rahab closed her eyes. If this God is real, let him see me, not as a prostitute, but as someone who can still choose what's right. The scarlet cord swayed in the window like a beating heart on cold scone. Why red? She asked, voice nearly lost to the wind. It's the color of the lamb's blood, said the older spy. It saved us in Egypt, and now it'll save you. Rahab didn't fully understand, but something in those words made her smile. A smile that wasn't for sale. Veggie, like the first light of morning, she whispered, tying the cord tightly, as if each knot stitched her past into a new beginning. As the spies climbed down the wall and disappeared into the night, Rahab watched them vanish. Your God is my God now, she whispered, not as a vow, but as hope. The cord danced in the wind, and for the first time, Rahab's hands, once tools of survival, were weaving something sacred. For 7 days, the drums of war echoed. For 7 nights, Rahab kept her family inside the house marked in red, repeating the spies' words. "Stay here, the cord will save us." But on the seventh day, when the seventh trumpet blew, followed by the roar of thousands, doubt stormed her soul. The ground shook like a wounded beast. The air cracked open, as if heaven itself was tearing apart. "Mother, we are going to die!" her younger brother cried, burying his face in her lap. Rahab held him close, eyes fixed on the red cord whipping wildly in the window. "Don't look down," she commanded, recalling the stories the spies told. "The sea parted. Now the walls will fall." And fall they did. Stones that once built empires turned to dust. The screams of soldiers melted into the thunder of splintered beams. It was as if an invisible hand had swallowed the city whole. But Rahab's house, fragile, suspended, stained with red, remained standing. The walls groaned, the roof tilted, but nothing fell. It was as if a colossal hand held her, shielding her from the judgment that consumed Jericho. When silence returned, only the soft tumbling of pebbles remained. Rahab peeked through the window. Where streets and towers once stood, there was only ruin. From the smoke, a man approached, cloaked in the mantle of leadership. "Joshua, your faith saved you," he said, helping her down. "This red cord," she whispered, clutching it, dusty but still vivid. "It's not just a sign," Joshua said. "It's a promise. You belong to the people of God now." As they walked through the wreckage, Rahab looked back. Her home clinging to the shattered wall looked like a miracle frozen in time, just like her. A Canaanite prostitute suspended between judgment and grace. Her fingers curled around the cord, and for the first time, she understood. The red was not just lamb's blood. It was the thread that would tie her to a future savior. Rahab didn't become a princess or a prophetess. The promised land welcomed her as a foreigner, but also as a mother. Boaz, her son, grew up hearing stories of trumpets, walls, and a scarlet thread that defied death. "The God who saved us in Jericho doesn't see labels," she would whisper, stroking the faded cord. "He sees the heart, and sometimes it beats stronger in broken hands." Years passed. Boaz became a man of mercy, offering bread to the hungry and justice to the forgotten. In the fields of Bethlehem, he met Ruth, a widowed Moabite, as foreign as his mother once was. "Don't send her away," Rahab pleaded, placing the scarlet cord in his hands. "The grace that saved me will now save her." Boaz obeyed. He married Ruth. From them came Obed. From Obed came Jesse. From Jesse came David, the shepherd who became king. And centuries later, in a manger in Bethlehem, Rahab's blood, blended with kings and laborers, flowed through a child named Jesus. God didn't raise Rahab from the ruins of Jericho by accident. He chose her because she understood what many religious people forget. True faith doesn't hide behind walls of perfection. It hangs, vulnerable and bold, in the window of chaos. Trusting that one scarlet thread of grace is stronger than any fortress. Rahab asks us today, what is your scarlet cord? What are you willing to risk so that grace can find you? By faith, the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, was not killed with those who were disobedient.